Welcome to Seattle Maritime Works. Hi, I'm Ken Saunderson with the Seattle Propeller Club, and joining us today is Captain Trevor Bozina with the Puget Sound Pilots. Hey, thanks for joining us today, Trevor.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, Trevor, why don't we start by having you talk a little bit about the pilots and why it was formed?
Yeah, so the Puget Sound Pilots have been around since 1935, and our primary objective and mission is to provide a safe and efficient pilotage and competent pilotage within Puget Sound's inland waters. We protect the marine environment. We protect against loss of lives, loss of or damage to cargo, property, and other vessels. We're required by both state and federal law to be aboard pretty much all the commercial vessels. There are some nuances, but pretty much all the commercial vessels, all the citizens of Puget Sound Sea going in and out of the straits or all the way south to Olympia. All those vessels are engaged in some sort of coastwise or foreign trade, and they're going to include everything from yachts, cruise ships, tankers, bulk carriers, container ships, ro-ros, and other special purpose ships. So 90% of everything we use in the world comes off of ship or is involved in some sort of maritime trade. And anytime a ship is coming into Puget Sound, there is a pilot on board that's responsible for its safe navigation to deliver the goods that everybody's relying on and get them to the dock everywhere from as far north as Ferndale, all the way south to Olympia and out west to Port Angeles. So it's one of the largest geographic regions in the country for pilotage.
You know, it's amazing. You talked about your safety record, and the pilots have helped produce an unparalleled safety record of more than 200,000 sailings over the last 25 years without a major incident. Talk about your role and how you safely guide vessels in Puget Sound.
Yeah, a lot of it just first begins with experience. Some of us got into the maritime industry just out of high school, whether it's going to maritime academies or working on boats. And from that experience, we have to enter into to bring in a pilot, it's usually a 3 or 4 year process. So there's a significant amount of testing and training that happens. Once you enter the apprenticeship program, you do about 300 jobs with experienced pilots. We gain and we bring our already vast experience as mariners. We've all been ship captains or tugboat captains or ferry captains before. And we bring that vast experience, and then through our training, we begin to get a very intimate knowledge of ship handling, the tides and currents, the weather of the area. We learn all the appropriate approaches to the berths and waterways. Really just drawing on that experience, working with the bridge team, using our tools that we have available, radars, ECDIS, but a big part of a pilot's job is looking out the window, observing what's going on, observing geographic features, observing what's happening on the water, being aware of all the vessels out there, to, in essence, really steer the ships by our voice. A lot of people may think that we're there steering the boat on the steering wheel, or on the helm, but there's a helmsman that's there steering the ship. We're providing the courses, when to make the course changes, how much rudder to use, what speed we're going to be going at, communicating with the other ships, other vessels, other small boats out there, and then working with the tugboats, communicating with the tugboats on what we need them to do to basically park ships that are not much bigger in places that are not much bigger than the ships themselves. Ships are getting bigger and bigger. I think some of the biggest ones we bring into the Sound now are 1,200 feet by 160 feet, sometimes drawn almost 45 feet deep. So it's really a huge balance of working together and balancing all the skills we have, drawing on our knowledge of training and experience to get these ships safely to the dock.
Talk about a typical day for you. You board the ship up in Port Angeles, and then talk about that boarding process and how you guide a ship into, for example, the Port of Seattle.
Yeah, so an inbound ship, basically our job starts out the Port Angeles Pilot Station. Ships will come in through the Straits of Juan de Fuca. We have a boarding area about 1.5 miles north of Edith's Hook. Our pilot boat will take us out to the ship. The ships don't stop. A lot of people may think the ships are stopping, but no, they're still coming in. They're going to be doing about 8 to 10 knots. We've got great boat operators, great pilot boats. The pilot boats take us out to the ship. The ship has prepared a pilot ladder for us. which is probably one of the most physically dangerous parts of our job, is just that transfer from pilot boat to the ladder. We climb up the ladder, we meet a ship's officer. That officer takes us up to the bridge. Once we get to the bridge of the ship, we'll meet with the captain. We'll exchange information, particulars about his ship. I'll share particulars about our route to Seattle, any significant weather, any significant vessel traffic, review his pilot card that gives me specifics of the ship. Then I may discuss our approach to the berth, how many tugboats we're going to have, how much water we're going to have underneath us, which sometimes can be only a meter or more, how much air clearance we're going to have from other cranes. And then I take over the con of the ship. So that means I take over the conduct of the ship. And now I'm directing, as I said earlier, the ship by courses to steer, speeds to go, rudder to use. I'm looking at my radar, looking at my electronic chart, looking at the window, using the electronics that I bring on board. And then to Seattle, depending on the speed of the ship, it's going to be anywhere from probably 3 or 4 hours to Seattle. Once I get into the Seattle, I'm going to meet the tugboats and ask them, tell them what I need them to do, where to make up on the ship. And then your involvement becomes a little bit more intimate, more specific on your orders. What you need the bridge team to do, what you need the tugboats to do, how to maneuver the ship to get it there. So really, as pilots, we use all those electronic tools, but we're also able to navigate the ships just by our eyes. You know, we use geographic features. When certain points of land line up, we know to make a turn that's going to keep us in the safe water, in the deep water. We know when we're abeam certain lights, that's a good time to turn. We know when we head on certain headings, head for certain buoys, head for certain points, we're where we need to be.
Wow, sounds like an incredible job. Trevor, talk about your career path and how you became a pilot.
I grew up sailing with my family when I was a little kid, really, and really loved being on the water. My dad actually heard about what pilots did, and I thought that would be a cool career for myself. Both my parents were teachers. No other maritime background, or just aside from recreational sailing. Really in high school, I started getting into it more. I actually interviewed someone that was a former pilot and owned a tugboat company for a school project. Learned about careers on tugboats, and as a pilot, that person actually ended up writing me a letter of recommendation for Cal Maritime. He saw my passion for the water. I went to the Maritime Academy, worked on tugboats, actually ended up working for that same tugboat company that the individual that I interviewed was from. Got my captain's time with that company, and then worked to acquire the qualifications I needed to become a pilot. So I'd say about 10 years after graduating from Cal Maritime, I was able to sit for the pilot exam. So it was always just knowing that I wanted to be a pilot, making sure what I was doing in my career choices was leading me in that direction to attain those qualifications. And just really making sure I enjoyed what I was doing along the way. But yeah, tugboats was great. I really enjoyed it. Hands-on boat driving and piloting, you get, a similar satisfaction. You can look back and say, wow, I just docked that 1,000-foot ship in this 400-foot, 700-foot wide waterway. So my path was started when I was a kid, and I think that's an important thing to get more kids into the industry. Start them young, and keep them going.
Trevor, you've been a great ambassador for the pilots and promoting opportunities for students and women in becoming a pilot. Why do you love being a pilot? Why is it a great career choice? You mentioned a little bit, but I'd love to explore that a little further.
Yeah, I think for me, it was a great career choice because I just like being on the water. It was something different every single day. I think now as I've gotten older, I've seen like a lot of opportunities it's provided for me and my family. Every company's going to be different, provide different schedules, but a lot of mariners, when you're gone away for work, it's hard, but when you're home, you're home. A lot of mariners work probably 6 months out of the year. You get the opportunity to travel. Every day is different. You work with great people. There's all types of different vessels you can work on that can even lead you to pilotage. We have pilots that have come from research ships, tankers, tugboats, ferries, yachts, cruise ships. Uh, it it's important to share that with young people so they can see what's out there and available to them, and to start kids at a young age. We talked earlier about places like Maritime High School, or Schooner Adventurous. There's a lot there, or organizations like Sea Potential that are really trying to share the maritime industry with youth. Like I said, 90% of everything we comes off of a ship. Uh, Everybody sees these ships, and so explaining pathways to kids is really important to really making sure that we have a strong maritime workforce for a long time to come. And right now is a great time to get in the industry. A lot of people are looking for workers. It's not too young to start. I did a tour of the training ship Golden Bear the other day with my kids, and I realized that 18 years ago I was on that ship as a cadet. And a lot of those kids that were on the ship as a cadet weren't born yet, right? When I was on there. But when I got on there, I realized this ship is the same as it was 18 years ago. It feels the same. What the kids are doing on there is the same. So it just showed me that really it's not too young to start getting people into these careers, explaining to them what it is you can do. That you're not just sometimes navigating on ships. Sometimes you're part of a fire team. Sometimes you're participating in research projects. There's medical personnel on board. A lot more to just navigating, and those are all things that make the job exciting.
Well, I love your passion. Why are you excited about the future of the maritime industry?
I think it's just something that's not going to go away. It's always evolving. There's always new ship designs are coming out. New electronics to help with navigation are coming out. You're on the water. Like I said, everything is different. There's a huge satisfaction that comes from doing this job. Tugboats are great. We drove the boats with joysticks. I think those are things that people don't know about, the amount of technology that's involved. The industry is always growing, always evolving. And I just think it's something that, like I said, it's not going to go away. We're reliant on it. It provides great opportunities, and it will continue to do so. And now is a good time as ever to really find your path into maritime.